All right, we are recording, talking to Mike Robbins,
How you
formerly
doing,
of
man?
Autumn Hill, of East Adelaide, and now of Mike Robbins. How's it going, Mike?
Yes. Woo. I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
Good to see you. It's been like forever since we've had a chance to actually chat. Not
Yeah,
including the
no
last
kidding.
half hour that we've been chatting, but it's always good. It's always nice to catch up and cross paths. And it looks like you've been managing this pandemic quite well.
You know what? The pandemic's been interesting, actually. I definitely can't complain. Things are great. Would never want to complain. Early on, my father actually and his wife got the coronavirus. When they were traveling right around March, and but they recovered and everybody's healthy now and feeling great. And then I was actually supposed to get married this summer, so Amanda and I had to go through all that kind of thing and postponing the wedding and rebooking a few things and all the fun that comes with that. But
Yep.
honestly, I can't complain. Like everybody's healthy, everybody's feeling good, so knock on wood.
And it's quieter too, right? It's kind of nice to kind of take a step back and just kind of enjoy the time that you have with family that normally we wouldn't have, because we'd be out
Absolutely.
doing something musically somewhere on the road, right? So now you've I don't know how long this has been in the works, but we all got a surprise a couple of weeks ago now, I guess, when Mike says, yeah, I've got this East Adelaide project going on, and oh yeah, I'm releasing a solo single. So uh,
Yeah.
tell us a bit about that. Lightning Don't Strike Twice is the name of the song. It's coming out in just shy of a month, so 3 weeks, I guess, eh?
Yeah. October 2nd.
So tell
October.
us kind of how long has this been going on, and
You know what? Honestly, it's something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. The idea of stepping out there just on your own, me and my guitar and giving it a shot is something that I wanted to do for a while, and I've always kind of followed things in life that I believe in taking chances and taking opportunities and risks in life when things have come up, and I've been very fortunate to be involved in some amazing musical projects, and I just sort of felt now, especially with COVID and all this sort of stuff, it gave me a little bit of time to refocus and figure out what I wanted to do the most, what was really calling me, and this is something I just really wanted to do. I thought it was time to take a bet on myself and hope for the best, and honestly, with this song, it was really natural. I mean, as I was saying, Amanda and I had to postpone the wedding, and there, I mean, everything completely understandable. Everything was fine, but there is this little feeling of like disappointment and those kinds of things. And I wanted to say something, just something nice, something sweet to Amanda, and we put this song together, and it really says that. It says she's my once in a lifetime, and Amanda and I were talking about it, and I think a lot of people that we knew, a lot of friends were postponing weddings and sort of going through the same thing. And I mean, all over social media, people are posting about this right now, and it just felt like, let's do this. I think there's a need for some positivity right now with everything going on in the world. There's a need for a song like this that just can lift people up, and I think it was the right time. So I hope people gravitate towards it.
so now are you doing this as a side project to East Adelaide, or are you moving on from the group thing and saying, you know what, I'm going to do this solo, I'm going on the road on my own?
Yeah. So at East Adelaide, we took a break from that a little while ago. Actually, it's been a minute now. Andy and I are, he's one of my best friends. He was playing drums with Autumn Hill. We came together so naturally as well, and we were just sort of talking about things that we wanted to do next, and it just felt like the right time. We had a blast. We were very fortunate to work with an incredible team over at Universal Music Canada and 21 Entertainment. And, Chris Smith was managing the project, and I can't say enough about everybody there. I mean, just phenomenal. And it just felt like we sort of hit a natural break period before we, put out more music. And he wanted to do his thing, and I really wanted to do this. I wanted to, really sort of chase down this dream that I've been dreaming about my whole life. So we're full speed ahead. This is the Mike Robbins project now.
Nice. So now, tell us about the song. So Lightning Don't Strike Twice, which is an odd title because you've already had lightning strike once. You had a lot of success with Autumn Hill. And
that was Autumn Hill is something that will always be so dear to me. I mean, it's where we met, I've been able to meet so many incredible people in the industry and so many incredible country music fans in Canada. This is just like the evolution, the next evolution. I mean, the song sounds like something that I would do. It sounds like a natural evolution for my voice and for song, the production and all that sort of stuff. It was recorded with my best friend and longtime collaborator, Dave Thompson. We worked with him right on the first Autumn Hill record and before that as well. So it couldn't be more exciting to have it sort of come out now. And like I said, it's just a song about telling that person that they are once in a lifetime, and that that you love them, and I think that a lot of people can relate to that right now.
So why didn't you put this out on like Valentine's Day or something like that? It sounds like the perfect song. It's just, you probably had this song and it's like, oh, I really, I want to put this song out there. I can't wait any longer,
No, I love it. That's a great question. And it's like I was sort of saying, it just, I saw so many people kind of going through the same thing. I mean, first of all, there is so much going on in the world right now. There's, causing a lot of tension, obviously. That I thought, a little burst of positivity was sort of needed. And I saw a lot of people having to go through what we were going through, just, changing the wedding or shrinking their weddings or postponing all this sort of stuff. And I just thought that it was the right time to send that message out.
No, and you're right. I mean, it's like, there's so much negativity one can take out of this whole situation, right? I mean, it's like
Absolutely.
People's entire worlds have been turned upside down. I mean, you really have to send your hearts out to, any real business owner. I mean, these people have been absolutely just ravaged over the last few months. In particular, like the bars and the live entertainment venues. I mean, the bars and restaurants have slowly been allowed to reopen, but then there's the concert halls that don't have the luxury of having a food service that are attached to it that can't open right now. Because, I mean, what are you going to do? Put on a show for 10 people? It's really difficult.
Absolutely.
And Absolutely. So, I mean, the families that, because you have to think, I mean, these venues are all very familiar to people like you and I, but what a lot of people don't realize that it's more than just a shell with some seats and a stage. There's people that are employed there that are currently not working. They have families that could be relying on those salaries that just they're not getting them right now. And then many of them, unfortunately, are never reopening their doors.
Yeah.
Not under the same banner that they are right now or were before this whole thing. I mean, it's very easy to get caught up in the negativity of this whole pandemic. And it's really, really important. And I've really tried to focus as much as I can on that by staying busy as well. I mean, I've been lucky. I mean, like I said to you earlier, I have been lucky enough to be able to work from home and really not have anything change majorly career-wise. And then having some new kind of business side of Soundcheck happening too was a real by accident that it started at that time that we were really kind of full on going into the launch of the new kind of marketing side of what we do. And it was never really intended to happen at the start of a pandemic, but all of a sudden we had all these artists that had all this time on their hands, and
that's it right there.
We want to work. We want to.
That's it right there.
And now's the time for us to kind of take really grab a hold of our career and build and focus on that foundation for the next year or 2 years, whatever this is going to take. And so it all came about timing, right? It's crazy how so many things have revolved around timing for Soundcheck as an entity and even now. So, but I mean, it's really, again, back to the whole the negativity that one can take out of it. And it's amazing how, and I mean, I've talked to so many different artists over the past few months, and the
Sure.
one thing that resonates from all of them, and I mean, we're talking all different levels, from the ones that are well established and comfortable to the ones that, you know, were probably still playing bar gigs and stuff like that when this all started. And, you know, they all have one thing in common. That's the fact that for the most part, none of them are playing gigs right now, at least not to the extent that they were. And, you know, they are all being positive. You know, their message to everybody is that, you know what, I'm in no different state than you. I mean, some of them have said, you know, I had to go out and actually get a job, you know, because I needed an income. And you know what, it's about doing what you need to do to make it through it and to stick it out. And I think it's really cool that the ones who can, I mean, of course, not everybody has a super uplifting, positive message that they can record and put out at a time that it's needed. But it's cool when an opportunity like that comes along for an artist to not just do that, but then come out and say, hey, yeah, I mean, you all know who I am, but now you're going to see a whole different side where I'm going to be the lead. I mean, it's going to be, you know, my name up in lights, and this is the song that I'm going to come out with. So I think it's really cool that you're spreading this positive message.
Thank you, man. Thank
And
you.
I think it's really cool how this collective group, and I know at the beginning it was like, oh yeah, it's all these big celebrities that are saying we'll get through this together from their comfy mansions. You know what I mean? They're 14 and 15 bedroom mansions with 10
Right.
and but it's really cool that artists that I've talked to, I mean, most of the artists, and I think a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the Canadian artists that I've been talking to, they don't have that kind of luxurious lifestyle. You know, I mean, I know a few of these artists that have toured Canada that have apartments in downtown Toronto. You know what I mean? So it's
I live in a condo.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's you know, and so it's really cool to see this positive message, even from a group of people that have probably been, you know, hurt more than most.
You know what? It's really it's been tough. I mean, I've always said for years. I mean, my favorite part of all of this is getting on stage and playing those live performances. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love writing. The studio I find very stressful. I'm a perfectionist, so it drives me a little crazy. But by far, my favorite thing to do, you know, is get on the line and get on stage and these live performances, and to not have that, it really does. It really can bring you down. You know, I mean, if you let it, it really has the ability to beat you back down a bit. I think we need to. I think we need as songwriters and artists to, you know, to create music that talks about what's going on in the world and you know, create the art that people can you know, bring into their own lives and have them sort of relate and reflect and impact on everything that's going on, but also to inject, you know, that a bit of happiness out there and a bit of you know, maybe a little bit of a distraction from things that are going on, or help somebody sort of refocus from the negative to all that, you know, all that there is positive in their lives still. And I think that's incredibly important.
Well, music is a healing power, right?
Exactly.
I mean, whether it's recorded or live, I mean, there's a certain quality that, and everybody says that. I mean, you know, there's a music for every moment, right, in your life. So, but I mean, you know, back to the point about the whole performing live. I mean, you're absolutely right, but there's a scientific side to that. I mean, because there's that natural chemical that's released from when you're out there and when you're experiencing it. It's been scientifically proven
Right.
that attending these shows, if you love live music, your body actually is healthier and you tend to actually live longer. And so
I didn't know that. I didn't know the live
oh,
long.
absolutely. No, absolutely. There's actual studies that have been done, and they show that people that go to live music, they tend to have longer lives and healthier lives. And I think that's because there's that natural chemical that's released when you're at these shows that, you're really, the worries seem to be gone for those few hours. So you're less stressed,
Absolutely.
you're less worried about things that are going on. And generally when you have a break from those natural everyday stresses and worries, um, you tend not to get as bogged down by them. Um, and so now you take that away, right? And then what are you left with? It's like you no longer have that escape.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it
Exactly.
it's really it's been, I mean, so unique, especially, I mean, for somebody like myself. I mean, I cover, so many different variations of live music over the years, from the
Right.
really small bar shows to the massive stadium shows. Um, and then to get the first opportunity to go to a drive-in show. I think the first one I went to was Susie Corey's Love Revolution Festival down in Cavan.
Right. I saw. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that all over social media.
So,
Absolutely. That looked great.
so we went down to that, and that was, a smaller kind of drive-in. For the most part, people stayed in their vehicles. The media, we were able to kind of roam around a bit. Um, and then that was followed up by Garth Brooks, his pre-recorded drive-in theater show. And I'm like, so it's
Right.
basically you're going to see a movie, but it was filmed exclusively for that. So at first it's a little weird, it just,
It's different. It's different,
but,
but
but then kind of as it went on, and then I'm following along on social media. And of course, him and Trisha Yearwood were engaging with all the fans, because this is being simulcast at like theaters around North America at the same time. Right.
right.
So now we're feeling like,
So cool. So
you
cool.
forget that it's on a screen, you're getting into the show, and it's feeling like you're in the largest Garth Brooks concert ever, and then,
How cool was that? It's like,
well, and then Blair and the horns and stuff like that, and so actually the last one I saw Metallica, their drive-in, and I was at the very late show. It didn't start till 11:30, and so we were parked in the queue, and the crowd was so loud from that.
really
It
in the
felt,
driving. That's
yeah,
amazing.
it felt like I was back at, a concert venue, and that kind of stuff. It's it was really cool. And I think it's, I mean, as much as I hate it, I'm thinking that we're going to be very similar to this next year. I mean, all we're hearing is that cases are going up and up and up, right? So I mean,
Yeah, they were up today for
unless
sure.
we have this massive, suddenly there's a cure that they can just fly a crop duster over us and just drop this cure on everybody, which isn't going to happen. Um, I think it's the reality of it is that, we need to take what we've learned from 2020 and adapt it to 2021, so that we can
Right.
start, the minute that Mother Nature releases her grip on this country, we can get out there and start putting on these drive-in shows, and put on shows wherever you can, a real
I think
show
that's great.
distancing, right?
Absolutely.
And I think there's a really golden opportunity, at least I think anyways, for Canadian artists. I mean, because Canada, I think even in the big picture, even though we're still being ravaged by this illness, um, we're still not as bad as our friends south of the border.
Of course.
Um,
Yeah. Thank God.
And I think that opens up an opportunity, I think a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of Canadian artists. And I really hope that, and I've had this discussion with a few other artists too, and I really hope that that some of the festival promoters out there are actually paying attention and consider that maybe, if we can have smaller festivals next summer,
Right. Right.
rather than do this massive Boots and Hearts with every big American headliner, why don't we just do an all Canadian Boots and Hearts?
Sure.
Not have
That would be amazing.
60,000 people out to the venue, but if you have 5 or 10,000 people come out to Boots and Hearts, if they can make that work in that space and just do an all Canadian lineup, I mean, how amazing would that be?
That would be phenomenal. And you know what? I mean, I think everybody in the Canadian country industry is very forward thinking. I think they jumped on drive-ins at the right time, the
Yeah.
virtual concerts and stuff. So I think what you're suggesting could be something could be a reality next year, and that would be really exciting.
I think, I mean, I've heard there's been rumblings about it already. I think right now everybody's just kind of waiting and seeing,
What's gonna happen?
what's going to happen. I think, now that school's kind of, I think another week and then school should be fully back in session. So I figure by early October, we should have a fairly decent idea as to what the return to school means in the big
Absolutely.
picture. And then they can start kind of planning, okay, so, I think they'll know fairly early on whether or not, because I mean, I'll tell you right now, if we get into the grips of this thing once winter hits and we're already, higher or in the caseload that we're at right now, it's not going to get any better.
I know. Well, everybody's talking about the opening of back to school and flu season.
Yeah.
Let's see what the impact, what kind of an impact that's going to have as well.
Right. So I mean, I think the next, because when you're talking about a festival, I mean, it's the next 3-4 months that the planning stages and the booking and all that kind of stuff are going to happen, because usually the lineup announcements and stuff like that generally happen January, February.
Right.
For a lot of these festivals, right? So, I mean, it's it's crazy. I mean, I have personally not been getting myself all psyched up about shows next year, because I really don't think that we're going to see the big arena shows.
Right. Yeah.
We've seen them.
A healthy dose of realism. I think you're operating in a safe area.
Yeah, because I think if we get too focused on the big stuff, then we're not going to be prepared to basically get the small stuff. I think we should start planning, for the more drive-ins, and see what other drive-ins and what other areas we can kind of expand that to for next year.
Right.
And plan for another scaled back year, but still have live music out there. And then find, new ways. I mean, they've really thought outside of the box this year. Let's see what else we can do to kind of keep it unique and then try new things. I think it's a great opportunity. I love how there's drive-ins popping up all over the place. I really hope we see more in other areas. It's great that there's some in the bigger centers, but I'd like to see some smaller communities get shows.
Right. Me too.
We do like drive-in tours, kind of like Brett Kissel's been doing, right? So
listen, there's a the Canadian country genre, from fans to industry to artists, everybody we're a force, and they're going to figure out
for sure.
They're going to figure out some really exciting things for
it's got to be one of the most creative bunch. It's a family too. I mean, everybody's looking after everybody else, right? I mean, like, we all know each other, and we're all like, the kind of drawing off each other's ideas, it seems like.
We know we need to bring it back.
Yeah, we have these brainstorming sessions, and it's, I love how they're doing the CMAOs as a drive-in event.
As a drive-in, right? I mean, awesome.
Yeah, so I mean, so what's next? So Lightning Don't Strike Twice is coming in about 3 weeks.
Yes.
What do you like? I mean, you must have more in the wings. I mean, most artists don't just, hey, I'm coming out with a song and I don't know.
That's it. I got one song and I'm out again. It's no, honestly, I've been writing and working on this project for a while, and one of the beautiful things about having the extra time, especially through all this, is really allowed me to structure how I want to start putting it out, and everything that goes into releasing music. So yes, there's a great plan. There's gonna be an EP. There's a collection of songs that are gonna be coming out every couple months for the next little while, and there's gonna be some really great content pieces. We're doing a few acoustic versions. We're doing I wanna try and give as much as I can during all this, and just like I said, hopefully inject some positivity into the world. That's the goal.
Well, it's really exciting. I mean, it's great to hear that there's music coming and there's new. I mean, I unfortunately didn't get a chance to catch you at East Adelaide at any point in the.
That's all right, man.
I mean, I obviously heard the music, obviously, but no, I mean, super excited to get this out there and get this on our playlist.
Hey, thank you so much.
And of course, even more so excited to get you out on a stage. I mean, at some point, I mean, we've got plenty of stuff coming up next summer that we're already planning out this way. So,
I'm in.
Once we kind of have a clearer picture as to where things are going, I mean, we're planning the festivals as if they're going to be like this year.
Right.
If we can open them up, then we open them up. I mean, they weren't great this year. The only difference is they weren't open to the public, right? So,
of course,
the basic plan is going to be to continue, and we're going to start planning festivals, and it's so great to have a venue that shares the same kind of thought process, and really wants to support the emerging artists, the ones that are just starting out and that aren't huge names.
No, that's awesome. I mean, it's so important. It's so important.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got to start somewhere, right? And it's really fun to have a venue owner that's like willing to sit down and say, okay, what else you got, right? Throw me more artists, right? And we'll try some out. And I mean, there's some that we've brought in that we may have heard on recordings that we bring them in. Yeah, not that strong on stage, but that's something that might develop. I mean, if this is their first show in 7 months or whatever,
Absolutely.
But I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's so great that we have. I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of the live videos that we've put up on social media.
Of course. You know what? You guys have always supported, the country artists for as long as I can remember. You know, I was saying this before we were talking too. You guys are a staple, and what you do is so important. And supporting emerging artists, you know, it's paramount. Like that's the next wave of great music, and like you've always supported every project I've been in, and so I greatly appreciate your time.
No, absolutely. I mean, and what I love the most is seeing how, I mean, this year, I mean, we've got a crop of emerging artists that are coming up right now that, I mean, Canada's really lucky. I mean, there's a lot of people that may not be paying as close attention to the music scene and the country music scene as we do, but I'm telling you, like the next couple of years, I mean, right now we've got 5, maybe 6 headliners in Canada. Like you got your Tim, Brett, Dallas, Dean.
Yeah.
Okay, then you got Jess and Madeline on the female side.
Yeah.
Reclaws. Yeah, the Reclaws, of course. Jade Eagleson's coming up. So I mean, and then there's these artists that are just about to just explode onto the scene, and it's really cool to kind of be sitting here, and I listen to a ton of music, right? So to hear new music submissions and then hearing some of the music that's coming up from some of these artists, I mean, just some of the music that I've discovered since March, some of these artists that I had no idea who they were before March, pandemic hits, and now some of these artists are really good friends of mine that I've had at my own festivals. Like Susie Corey is a good example. I mean, I had no idea who she was before March. And then sometime in mid-March, early April, I heard a couple of her songs. I heard her story. And this woman, she's got like the luck of the Irish, I tell you. I don't know if you ever heard her story, but go check her out on her website and read her story because it'll blow your mind. I wish I had.
Yeah, well, I've heard the music. I mean, I saw everything about that festival that you're doing and stuff. And no, I mean, I think Canada has always had really strong, a really strong group of artists here, and I think Canadian country, I mean, it's my home. I love it. The community that we're all a part of. There's just so much talent here in Canada, and it's going to stay that way. It's going to stay exciting.
Let me put you on the hot seat for a minute. Who's on your playlist
right now for emerging?
Anybody? Like what drives Mike? What do you?
Well, I gotta say, I've been loving the new Keith Urbans. I mean, as you know, I've been a massive Keith fan forever, and I love that we're getting these singles every little while coming out, the new Versa songs, Tumbleweed, all that sort of stuff. But out of Canada, in terms of emerging, Brian John Harwood, the My Baby's Hotter Than Summer.
Yeah.
Been playing that one all like crazy. I love the Owen Barney, the newer track, the Owen Barney stuff. Obviously the new Dallas that came out just a bit ago.
Timeless,
yeah. I mean,
all of it. You can say all.
Yeah, I don't want to say all of it. I was gonna say I've been a fan of Dallas's for forever. I mean, so. That record just kind of blew me away. So that I think, I think that stayed that stayed in the rotation for quite a while.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, we're lucky. I mean, and there's so much great music coming in it, and it's so great to see, even during the pandemic, that people are like, hey, yeah, we're still putting music out. You know, I mean,
Totally.
and you've
You
heard
know,
a
it's been
few.
really cool. Recording changed in the pandemic for me.
Oh,
You
really?
know, I was doing a lot of my parts here up in Toronto, and you know, flying them down to Dave, and we were recording in two countries, and that was
Yeah,
wild. I've never done it like that before, so that was pretty
no,
cool.
that's true. I guess. I mean, when you can do that, do it that way, right? I mean, it's definitely opened a lot of doors. I know that it's everything changes, right? I mean, and you
Everything
adapt and
changed.
you find new ways to accomplish anything. I mean, and
Exactly.
it just comes down to, where there's a will, there's a way, right? I mean, you can either let it stop you, or you can just rise up and say, no, you know what, I don't feel like stopping. I'm gonna just continue doing what I'm gonna do, and but just do it in a safe manner. I think that's the important thing that we all need to
Exactly.
remember, is that we have to make sure that the health and safety of ourselves, our families, and of course the fans are paramount. I mean, um,
You know, we live in a society, and there is a social contract in the society that we should all have each other's backs. And I was saying this earlier. You know, it's so selfish to not, you know, participate in that, to not wear the mask, to not, you know, I understand people have different beliefs about a lot of these things. I'm seeing a lot of, you know, rhetoric online and stuff, but quite frankly, you know, my people in my family have had it. You know, Amanda, my fiance, is a teacher going to school every day, and you know, it's just do your part. Just do your
yeah,
part. Help everybody. Help us all get through this. Let's just, you know, let's get through this. Come out stronger together. It makes the most sense.
yeah. I mean, I'm in the same boat. I mean, a former colleague of mine, we almost lost him to COVID. I mean, it was he chronicled his journey on social media, and it was gut wrenching. I mean,
Yeah.
to kind of follow the daily posts, and then all of a sudden there was this blank spot, and then his sister posted that he was put on a
Yeah.
ventilator, and then after the
Jeez.
72 hours of the ventilator, the story that continued after that was, there's some PTSD now, because he was there
Sure.
struggling to breathe, and then they're wheeling in this cart. He said he had enough time to send out one text, because he didn't think that he'd be coming back out of it. I mean, it's
It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Like I said, you
absolutely.
know,
I mean,
my father had it. One of my best friends had it. You know, he was living in Florida now, and he had it, a pretty bad case of it. And
and
yeah,
to
I
think,
mean,
the the
we just
the
have to
way.
be there for each other.
Well, and the most important thing that to realize is that the only thing that we're being asked to do to help keep this from spreading and getting worse is to wear a mask and not go out as,
Wash
wash your hands, of course, wash your hands, wear a mask, and just, distance from each other, and not gather in massive groups. I mean, it doesn't mean, I
your-
mean, we've been proof of it this summer. You can have fun safely, you know,
Oh, absolutely. Like I was saying, I mean, you know, it's so crazy. It's so crazy when people just don't, you know,
yeah.
don't want to do these simple things. They don't want to be a part of this. I mean, like I said before, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but there's no reason to break the social contract that we all have with each other,
Yep.
and want to be there for each other. You know,
Well,
it's like,
because I mean,
let's stop this and let's get back out to doing
well,
festivals and
and
having a
because
good
we
time.
don't want the music industry or the entertainment industry to be part of the problem, right? I
Yeah,
mean, we
oh,
don't want to
100%,
just say, hey, you know what,
100%.
we're going to get back together, we're going to throw a big show because, we're suffering from COVID fatigue, we're done with it, so we're just going to have
Right.
a big party and then people die. Nobody
No,
wants that, you know,
we can't be a part of the problem.
and so it's
I don't think anybody wants to be. You know, I think everybody's been pretty great about this. And
yeah.
like you said, you know, the drive-ins came up, and they've been finding these amazing creative ways to get around it while staying safe, and you know, keeping everybody healthy. And I think that's so important. I think there's nothing else that matters, you know, right now. Let's just have each other's backs, and get out of this situation.
So do you have any plans in the near future for any kind of performances, or are you just going to lay back for the winter and then
Um,
hopefully the spring or.
I have no plans. There were a few things that obviously got knocked off the books this summer. But honestly, I'm open to things that are safe. I'm open to doing a drive-in kind of performance, things like that. But the weather's changing and stuff right now.
Yeah.
I didn't jump on to virtual concerts right away. Actually, when this first hit, when the lockdown happened, I watched a lot of them, and I was sort of, taking some time to be with family and also sort of create this next project, the Mike Robbins project and stuff. So I actually just started doing like an Instagram live show and stuff here and there. I had my first one, and I have to tell you, there are two things. One, awesome. It felt great. It really did a little bit kind of fill that void. There was connecting with people again and reading all the comments and stuff. And although that's difficult in its own self, you're trying to sing and you're reading like comments on the thing. And then two, it is I found it anyways, extremely nerve-wracking because I clicked on Instagram. I went in to do the live, and of course I could post, I could comment, I could story, but Instagram Live did not let me on. and so for like 18 minutes, I'm putting out stories of like, I'm trying, guys, I'm coming, I'm so sorry. Instagram, and I'm screen sharing what's going on and stuff, and I'm like, just, I'm sweating. I'm like, this is terrible. This is it. But but the 18th try was a charm.
You need a tour manager for the virtual live stuff now, right? You take care of all the tech stuff.
Well, now I know what's up. But funny. It was 18 minutes. I was just like, this. I can't believe everybody else has done so many of these for months, and I go to try, and it's like nothing works.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did one at the early in the year, or in the pandemic with Sycamore.
Oh, great!
And there was always talk about doing more. But I mean, like I mentioned earlier, I mean, I live out in the country. I mean, we've got glorious internet today. It's not always.
I see you're coming in loud and clear. It's great.
It's fantastic today. It's not always this pretty, and I know, like, often for me, the live streams, it's I don't know if you've ever played Minecraft. You don't have any kids, so you may not even know what that is.
I know what it is, though. I know what it is.
I could never understand why this game was. I remember growing up, video games, the better the graphics, the better the game, right? Now we're going backwards. It's like, really? It's pixels. It's like, Commodore 64 game. But basically, to me, I always describe my interpretation of the live videos when I watch it from home as that. It's like I'm watching a Minecraft version of James Barker Band doing a live show because it's all pixelated, I mean,
right.
Average.
The James Barker Band. I mean, James's stuff was amazing.
They're a machine, eh? They're just cranking them out like crazy.
That was awesome. That was really great. I get what you're saying, though. I mean, it's certainly, listen, it's not going to replace live music, but it is, right. It does really kind of fill that void a little bit, though, I mean, connecting with people like that and being able to play some music, and it allows people to take a break in their day, like I was saying, and take be a little distraction from all the things that are sort of going on.
And
I think it sort of comes back to connecting with everybody and being that little bit of positivity, bringing that little bit of positivity to the world. So,
well, and it's a great way for the fans and the artists to connect, like in a way that they probably haven't before. I mean, like these kind of things would be, you'd have to win something like this before March. I mean, to win like basically a streaming concert from one of your favorite artists is something that you would have had to win from a radio station or somebody like Soundcheck. And now you basically get a menu of them every night. You know what I mean?
You know what? With everything going on, I think we all need a win. So
absolutely, yeah. And
take the win. This is great.
The big win for Mike Robbins fans comes on October the 2nd. I can't stress that.
Hey.
I'm super excited. You like that segue, right? Right back to the
man. That is. You know what that is? That is being in the industry and being a master of what you do. That is
Yeah. So
skill.
I mean, we're super super excited. I mean, it's I can't believe that you're doing this far in advance the media promo, because I know what it's like having worked with artists on doing a release. I've got one coming up Friday, and the anticipation, the excitement that goes into it, and it's his debut too. So it's kind of, you feed off that energy.
Right.
So for you to be doing these interviews and stuff with, still another 3 weeks before it goes live, and this interview isn't even going to see the light of day until then. Uh,
Right. You know what? I don't think I've been sleeping for the past 3 weeks, and I don't anticipate sleeping for the next.
you'll look great for somebody who hasn't slept in weeks, though, I tell you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It's all this ring light I got going on right here.
Anyways, Mike, it's got to be getting close to dinner time for you. I'm sure it's getting close to dinner time here upstairs, so I'm gonna let you go. But I really appreciate catching up.
Hey,
It's been
it was great to see you. And
it's been way
I'm so
too
happy
long.
that you're doing well. I'm so happy that you're feeling well now and everything's good. And I appreciate you guys so much. Like I was saying earlier, you've supported everything I've ever put out. I mean, this wild journey of being an artist and working in the industry is crazy. And you guys have been there since day one. So thank you.
It's been a
Honestly, from the
fun.
bottom of my heart, thank
It's
you
been
so
a
much.
fun. It's been a fun journey, and I mean, there's been a lot of crazy memories from the Autumn Hill days, and a lot of great memories from some amazing shows, and it's really great to see that you're still pushing forward, and the journey continues, and I mean, we're just excited to be on the ride, and we can't wait to see where this will lead, and
Thanks,
hoping
man.
that this is gonna really be the long term one. I mean, because I think you've had success with Autumn Hill. It probably wasn't as long as you would have hoped, but I mean, that happens, right? I mean, it's you
Oh,
find the
it's
right
all
time,
part of it, man.
and you go on to the next phase, and then you're East Adelaide, and then you got to a crossroads there, and it's just about continuing to move forward, right? And you hit a fork in the road, and you can either go down one way or go down the other, right? And there's no wrong path. So we're just,
Absolutely.
I'm glad. I keep saying we, but I mean, I'm really glad that you decided the path that you're going to continue making music and not go off and become, I don't know, like a cashier at a retail store or something like that. I don't want to buy a coffee from you at Timmy's or anything. So,
Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. No, I mean, there's with me, it's really only been one thing. I started my career in bands, and I went on to be a touring guitarist and a session guitarist, and then lived out in Los Angeles for a couple of years, doing some great tours out there. And the next step was Autumn Hill, and then the next step was East Adelaide, and it's just the one constant is me and my guitar, and just this is what I do. So
well, it's
I don't
just a
think quitting was
staircase.
ever possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's a staircase, right? You keep taking one step at a time until you get to where you want to go.
Exactly.
So,
When you're passionate about something, you're going to find a way.
no, absolutely. All right. Well, Mike, again, October 2nd, I think it's available for pre-save right now, right? I think you
It
can,
is actually, yeah, right now. That's
there's a
great.
link. I'm going to say that we're going to share it. They're not going to see that I'm going to say that I'm going to share it till after it's out, but I will make sure that we get that pre-save link out there, and super excited. Like I said, we'll have it out there on our Canadian country, and I guess we could put it on a rising country playlist. You're kind of a rising country artist, so
Yeah, I mean, it's starting again. It's
yeah,
starting from the bottom, right? It's
yeah,
we're gonna take this thing one day at a time, and just
have fun with
hopefully
it.
have some fun with it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not work when you're having fun with it. It's just it's the same thing with what we do. You have to have fun with it, and
Absolutely.
you just keep every step, and obviously when it stops being fun, okay, well, maybe it's time to look at a different staircase, um but well, you enjoy what's left of the summer. It looks like colder weather's on the way, so it's
Oh yeah.
I mean, hopefully that means that it's going to be just like all the other artists, and that means that you'll be busy writing and recording, and you'll have about 14 albums and a greatest hits album done by the time the pandemic's done.
You know what? That's next. The greatest hits package. That's the next. You know, I released one song, second
Greatest
song,
hits.
hits package.
There you go. There was an artist, I don't remember who it was, but there was an artist who their very, very, very first release, their debut,
Yes.
was the greatest hits.
Yes. Yes, I know.
That's what they called it. I can't remember who it was, but it's brilliant because it gets people talking, right? So
Totally does.
but all right, well, we really look forward to it, and you enjoy
Thanks,
the
man.
rest of your day, and
You do all the best, man. Appreciate it.
stay healthy, and do me a huge favor. Your wife is a superhero for being a teacher, and or fiance,
Hey.
I guess almost wife. I mean, it's we can't stress enough how the frontliners, like the teachers and the retail people, I mean, they're literally going out there and putting themselves in a very dangerous position. And we really, really appreciate that she continues to do that and continues to be there for the kids and the future generations.
She does. She is. It is an extreme passion of hers. It's the only thing she's ever wanted to do too. And when when school was reopening, there was a lot of stresses that sort of came along with that, a lot of uncertainty and stuff.
Yeah.
But she loves it. She's there.
What level does she teach?
Sorry?
What level does she teach?
This year she's doing junior and senior kindergarten.
Oh, so the very, very beginning. The emerging artists, the really, really emerging artists. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, and that's it's such a great group because I mean, it's you're really the most impressionable at that age, right? So
yeah. But it's very hard. Social distancing is a whole other thing with that age group.
No, I think that's probably, I'd say from that age group to probably grade 3 or 4, are probably going to be the most difficult grades to deal with throughout this pandemic. I mean,
I would imagine so. Yeah. And of course,
see all the
daycare as well.
Yeah. Hey, I traded masks. You know what I mean? Bobby gave me his mask in class today, and man, it sneezed in my mask, and I need to change it.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's I don't think I could do it. But you know what? All the power to her.
Yeah, she's a rock star.
Definitely make sure that she plays lots of Mike Robbins on nap time so that they get it in the brains early, right?
I like that. See, I took that as, I hope I'm not putting people to sleep with it, but I like the way you.
They're impressionable, right? So you subliminally, it's like, how they say to put that tape recorder under your pillow to learn another language.
Right.
Just do the same thing with your music, right? So then they come out. It's like, for some reason, I'm a huge Mike Robbins fan. I don't know why.
This is brilliant. This is a whole other level of marketing I had not considered.
Hey, like I said, I'm always thinking of new ways to. All right, Mike. Well, thanks, man. It's great catching up, and let's not wait 2 years before we do it again. We chat online and stuff all the time, but let's definitely catch up before long, and then once all this nonsense is done, let's grab a beer.
Love it, man. Absolutely.
All right, Mike. Well, have a good one. All the best to you and yours, and we'll catch you on the flip side. See you later.
Cheers.